Hello and welcome to the Honeycast. I am here with part 2 of the hormone puzzle. And in this podcast, I'm going to be teaching you some things that you can actually do to help support your hormones so that you can fit together those hormone pieces so that you can feel good, so that you can turn your fat burning on, so that you can mitigate some of those menopausal symptoms, and you can really just live your best second half life. This is going to be a jam-packed, very practical, these are the things that you need to do. And let's just start with the number one thing. And I'm going to say that nutrition is going to be at the top of the list. Nutrition and exercise. And then I'm like, no, sleep is number one. Gosh, it's so hard to prioritize these. So let's not prioritize them. Let's just talk about the importance of them. Consuming white sugar, white flour, and seed oils is going to backfire for your weight loss journey and also your cholesterol and also the way you feel and your blood sugar. It is a blood sugar wreck nightmare, which causes your body in this season especially to store fat. It also increases inflammation, and when inflammation is increased, we store more fat. So it is a cycle. The more inflamed we are, the more fat we store. And the more we get our blood sugar out of whack, the more insulin is in our body trying to get the excess glucose out of the cells, which it can't because it's resistant, and it causes the fat storage. So if you're wondering what's going on, the hormones that are declining and this white sugar, white flour, and seed oils. So we really want to focus on nutritious foods, all of the whole foods, all of the plant kingdom. Now, some of you may not be able to have all foods because you might be food intolerant to that. That's normal in midlife because our gut microbiome changes. Therefore, the gut should be and needs to be a priority in what we're eating and really our focus, because we need those good gut bugs. We need those. And so we really want to give those what they need, which is prebiotics and probiotics like vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, fruits, definitely the good fermented foods. Those are a winner, for our gut. And we definitely want to make sure that you are getting vegetables almost at every meal. I have to say, it is a game changer if you can add those veggies in at least 2 or 3 meals a day. It can help reduce insulin resistance. It can help your gut microbiome. It can help you detoxify. It gives you the polyphenols and the vitamins and the minerals and the antioxidants that you need. We kind of know this, but it's easy to get away from having vegetables at each and every meal. And you can find ones that you like. If you like them raw, eat them raw. If you like them cooked, eat them cooked. Eat the ones you like. They are a game changer when it comes to belly fat loss as well. They also are going to provide that fiber. And fiber is important for many things besides belly fat loss. It is important for your gut. It is food for those good gut bugs, and it also helps with our detoxification, which is paramount in midlife because detoxification usually slows down and our livers get sluggish and we're not detoxifying those excess estrogens and other things that we need to. So those are getting stored in our body and it causes inflammation. So we really want to make sure that we are taking care of our gut and that we're not consuming those foods like the white sugar and the white flour and those seed oils. We want to go for the whole foods, the fruits and vegetables, the nuts, the seeds. Legumes are beautiful for blood sugar and more. Our good fats, our good carbohydrates. The other thing is those low carb diets, the keto, the IF, make matters worse. Not getting adequate protein, same thing. When we are not getting the protein that we need, we are actually not able to perform our cellular function to the highest degree. Our muscles, our cells, our hormones all need adequate protein. And so making sure you get 20 to 30 grams of protein at each meal. And I like that as a snack, for a snack as well, and even more. Did you know that the new guideline for protein for women in midlife and beyond is 1 gram of protein for each pound of your healthy body weight? That is a lot of protein, isn't it? We're probably not even getting half of that. So you want to take a look at the protein that you are getting. Count it up. Just do a little experiment for 3 days. Count up that protein and really see what you're getting. I'm getting upwards to 100, which is my goal right now. I'm getting that because I'm eating animal protein and plant protein, as well as I'm using the essentials amino acids. I'm using the hemp protein powder, and occasionally I'm using the whey protein powder. So I am not getting all of my protein in just food. That would be a little bit difficult for me with the goal that I have. But if you are kind of level 1, getting your protein 20 to 30 grams at each meal and at least 15 at your snack is going to get you close to where you need to be. There's so many reasons why we want to add that protein. It really is anti-aging. It is helpful for cravings. It is helpful for energy levels and blood sugar balancing, and especially if you deal with loading your food at the end of the day. Maybe you have a late breakfast, don't do it. A light lunch, don't do it. A little bitty snack and you go into dinner hangry and you have your biggest meal at night with a whole bunch of protein. We don't want to do that. We want to start our day building. And here's what I teach my people. I want you to have 30 grams of protein at breakfast. Yes, 30 grams of protein. And I also want you to either have an E meal or an S meal. And it's light S. I want you to have your E breakfast. If you're not having E breakfast, I'd like for you to try it out. Even if you have insulin resistance or maybe even pre-diabetic, there are ways that you can do E meals. You kind of have to practice and you have to see what works for you. But those E meals can really settle down cortisol first thing in the morning. They can support thyroid and adrenals and other hormones, and they can start revving your metabolism. They give you your energy for the day. They give you that glucose. And in the right setting, at the right time, the trim healthy way, your body can burn through those carbs and then burn through the little bit of fat that you give it and then start burning your own fat. Next is we need to move our body. You guys, and I am so guilty of this since I have been in my office working and, creating content and coaching. I sit more than I ever have in my life. We have 9 children. I'm used to never sitting down unless I was reading aloud or maybe eating dinner and then maybe laying down for a nap. And I can find myself sitting for hours, and I really had to work on this. And I actually did start gaining weight. I knew it was because I was eating more and I was not moving and hormones. And so I have got a practice where I set my timer for every 2 hours and I move for 15 minutes every 2 hours. I also have a treadmill that goes under my desk and I walk on that daily. I still want a bike. I want a bike, a desk bike, but I don't have enough room. My husband's like, quit buying fitness equipment. But you know what? I'm a trainer. That's what I do, right? But I have ways of moving. I have my vibration plate. I can do the NADI, which is the nitric oxide workout. In the summer, I usually go on 2 or 3 walks outside, or I walk down to the mailbox and back. But you guys, it really does make a huge difference. Yes, for your hormones. Yes, for your weight loss. Yes, for your mindset to walk 5 to 10K each day. You can rebound. There are many things you can do to get your move on, but you definitely need to do it. A lot of people say, oh, it's not really doing any good. It totally is. It totally is. Okay. The other thing, as far as hormones, we want to do the best exercise for hormones. And I'm going to say the number 1 exercise would be strength training and lifting heavy. Number 2 would be HIIT training or SIT, which is sprint interval training for the right amount of time. Not too much of that. The first thing to get dialed in is your strength training, and we need to lift heavy. Start by lifting light or your body weight, get acclimated 4 to 6 weeks, and start adding weights to that. I am loving the Trim Healthy Fitness YouTube workouts. They are my favorite, fabulous. I have so many other people that I follow. I create workout videos as well for my tribe and members, and I've got some free vibration plate workouts going on out there for you guys. But that strength training, it has got to happen for, number one, bone density, and so that you're not losing muscle. Number two, insulin sensitivity. Number three, metabolism rever. Number four, just being able to be strong and do your life. Number five, weight loss. And yes, belly fat loss. And I'm not talking about doing crunches. I'm talking about working those large muscles and growing them and getting them strong. And those muscles will suck insulin right out and send that insulin where it needs to be so that you're not storing fat. You're turning into a burner. You're turning into a fat burner. Those are the exercises. Now, where does yoga and Pilates and rebounding fit in? They fit in anywhere you want them to. They're more restorative, unless you're using some weights on that. But those are fine. If you love them, do them. But they're not the needle mover like the strength training where you're lifting heavy, and or the hit or sit where you are breathing heavy for a period of time and recovering. That's the key for that hit. The most I ever do is 8 to 12 minutes of hit, maybe twice a week. And that's when I'm not playing pickleball. When I play pickleball, that is my hit. But you don't want to do more than 40 minutes of hit per week if you are in midlife and beyond, because it will raise your cortisol levels, and raise cortisol levels. Cortisol will actually break down muscle in this scenario instead of you building your muscle. So we really want to dial in the everyday movement and then the exercise. And sleep is probably going to be number one, but right now it is where it is. I talked about that in the last episode. It is so important. And ladies, I know it's difficult. I understand. I don't sleep very well, and I've been working on this for years, but I'm hanging in there, and I am determined to do everything I can to get a good night's sleep. This is where we restore. This is where our liver is taking care of business. This is where our brain, autophagy, is going on in our whole body, cleaning out our brain, cleaning out our body. This is where human growth hormone comes in. We need that. It's an anti-aging hormone. It's where lowering cortisol comes in. So really work on the sleep. And then lastly, the stress piece. I have to say, this is just as important as all of them. When we are in chronic stress, we drive those cortisol levels up, which cause fat storage, which also cause inflammation, which also cause a host of negative effects in our body. And I understand in this season of our life, sometimes we just have so much stress. I was just talking to a client the other day. She has got so much going on. I haven't even heard of just this much stress going on in someone's life, with stress with children and circumstances and whatnot, to the point where they had hives. And while there are things that we can do, I felt so bad for her because she's really struggling with her weight loss right now. And that stress piece is huge in her life. But you can do something about that. You can't change that. And that's what she was saying. What can I do? And we just came up with 3 or 4 things that she could do to just really just work on it. Like, stop before you get into that chronic stress mode and deep breathe, or do some tapping. If you haven't heard that, you can look up tapping solution on YouTube. Just a walk can actually help reduce stress and cortisol. Some prayer and meditation, some journaling, whatever you need to do. If you have a pet, get on the floor and love on your pet. That raises oxytocin. These little anti-stress breaks can really be preemptive. They can help you, even though they feel so little and you feel like nothing is resolved. Your body is resolving it. When you can shift from that fight, flight to the rest and digest to the parasympathetic, you are bringing your physiologically body or whatever into balance, into more of a homeostasis, into that rest and digest where you're not in that chronic stress. So getting the sleep is really important. Managing the cortisol and the stress is important. And if you don't start your day out with some type of quiet time and time for yourself, if you're not spending time in any type of restoration or rest, then you want to put that in your schedule. And you do have time for this, ladies. You do. I am just as busy as everyone else. And even when I had my 9 kids and I was homeschooling, you better believe it. I had a time for myself every day, twice a day. And we revolved around that because it was more important for me to have restoration and me to be able to lead and teach and be who I needed to be than being a yes person, saying yes to everything and giving up the things that I need sacrificially, which there's a time for that, but I was sacrificing my health. And if you're in that place and you're sacrificing your health because you're saying yes to stress or yes to too many opportunities or appointments, and your brain is telling you you just can't slow down and you can't stop, that is not true. There is something that you can do. I guarantee it. It may not be the total win-win that you're looking for, but you can carve out and create some space in your day to give you what you need. If you do not fill your vessel, then how in the world are you going to take care of your aging parents, of your teenagers, of your grandkids, of your spouse, friends, church, whatever it is that you're doing? How can you do that without having some restoration? And that is what this season in my life is teaching me, that I feel like I was made to lay down in the green pastures, right? I really hit a wall. And I'm happy for it because it's making me really think about my decisions and what I'm saying yes to and what I'm saying no to. And you know what? My family and my friends are honoring me. They're not saying you need to do more. Oh, mom, do this. They're not. They're like, mom or friend, do what you need to do. If you can't come to this, whatever, I understand. And it's because I'm communicating with them. Like, I really need this rest time, or I really need to be in bed by a certain time in this particular season, or really need to say no to this type of food and this type of activity right now because it's not serving my body. So all of these things are pieces of the puzzle to invest and to restore somewhat and to support your declining hormones and your body. And so if you aren't doing some of these things or all of these things, pick one thing to work on. Whatever that is, pick one thing to work on. I have a lot of good habits right now, but guess what? It's taken me 14 plus years, lots of intention. This is my job. I coach people, so that kind of helps keep it in the forefront. Right now, my body is talking to me, so I'm having to listen to it. And it's worth it. It's worth it to take the time to establish these new habits, and you can do that. It's not an easy feat, but you can do it. And if you start with one thing at a time, you take that one thing and then you come up with a system for that one thing. What's a system? So for instance, I'm just going to talk about my system for getting my restoration things in. I have a little checklist of what I want to accomplish. I have some non-negotiables. There's like 4 non-negotiables and the rest is negotiable. And what I do is every morning after my quiet time, I do several of those things on my list, like the deep breathing, like the stretching, the sauna that usually goes at the end of the day, a rest every day. I'm taking some type of rest, whether it's a all-out nap or it's a 30-minute lay on my bed flat and read or deep breathe or tap. But those are the things. And then I'm doing a detox protocol. And so I have this system. I've got a checklist, and each morning I do a couple of those things. I check it off. I have it in my calendar when I'm taking my supplements. Yes, it's written down at 10 and then at 3:30, I'm taking these particular things. And then at this time, I'm doing my sauna. And that way I've got the goals and I am working on each of them because I've gotten some of them already dialed in, and I've got the system. So I had to adjust my life for my system. So sometimes, people have to wait, or sometimes I'm not going to be a part of something that I'm invited to. in this season specifically, because my goal is to get restored. And so hopefully some of this has been speaking to you. And really, we're talking about putting together the hormone puzzle, not just for weight loss and belly fat loss, although that's very important, but also for your overall health. And some of the things that I mentioned before, all of the things that I mentioned before, are moving you in the right direction to turn you into a fat burner, to get your hormones supported and working for you, to being able to move strategically so that you're not really overdoing it. You don't have to do a lot, which is pretty darn amazing. And then, you can get these habits dialed in so that you're just done. You're done with dieting, you're done with waffling, you're done with should I do this, should I do that? No, you've got it going on. Thank you for listening to me today, and I will see you next time.